hearing about the toughest NFL challenges on the internet. Today, we're going to see if that's just hype. I'm diving into the most mind-bending Sporcle quizzes, dreaded Immaculate grids. My football knowledge is as elite as I think it is, or you're seriously humbled. Tation is on the line here. I mean, I've spent years watching, studying, reading football. Actually translate when the pressure's on. One way to find out. See, you can beat my score. Alright, Sporcle Classic, that sounds the same one, we'll get into sassy real quick. NFL all-time rush leaders from 1948 to 2019. This tests your history and your modern-day knowledge. One number of time, the pressure is cranking up, and my dignity is just hanging on by just a thread. Get into it. Okay, firing it up. It's ticking. Let's get the obvious ones out of the way to build some confidence. Dallas, that's a no-brainer. Leading rusher in NFL history. Mr. Emmitt Smith. Boom. He's on the board. There's another icon. Walter Payton, who is not on the board. Oh. Only because I spelled it wrong. Sweetness, that's a little too easy. Lions, obviously the one and only. Barry Sanders, who, let's be real here, I think is the most talented running back to ever touch a football. And it's the trivia gold mine. Now, where does this get tricky? A team like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've been wrong that long. Fred Taylor. Workhorse for them for years. And I got it. Good. What about the Houston Texans? Even newer franchise. Alright, the incredible run of seasons has to be him. It's not. Okay. Scanning this list here. Trouble spots. Patriots. This is a tough one because there's historically been a running back by committee team in the Brady era. Gut tells me Sam Cunningham, which is not there. Bruising fullback for them back in the 70s and 80s. Try him, not there. That one. And it separates pros and casuals. Let's find another hard one. I guess in this case, we'll use the Philadelphia and Buffalo one. How about that? The only possible answer that I could possibly think of would be McCoy, Sean McCoy, which is on the board. Another one that I could possibly think of here would be Todd Gurley, who is not on here. And then we've got obviously teams like Buffalo or San Francisco, teams like Tampa Bay or Atlanta. Got a lot of teams, but another player that I could possibly think of would be Le'Veon Bell, who is not on here, which would have been a good guess. What about Jim Taylor, who is not on here? Bay. So obviously, despite the fact this quiz did not go well, worse than I thought it would. Still got some answers up on the board. I'd thought about Frank Gore, I just didn't say it. Bettis, Adrian Peterson, Dickerson. Obviously, Lynch is a good one. Obviously, since there's some that I missed. But I don't want to get too cocky here. There is just so happens to be another quiz waiting, and feeling that that one's either going to be easier or so very much tougher, which is the 50 touchdown club. May not sound like a lot, and obviously some of these names are going to be very easy, or not all of them are going to specifically be easy. Says here that there are only 3 answers. 2007, 2018, 2013. Obviously, answer for the 2007 would be Brady, who had that insane season. He's going to be the most obvious answer. Next one I think it would be Breeze, which it is not. So Rodgers would be the next one. It's not Rodgers. So the 2013 one, this would be Manning, because he had that insane season. So what answer does he got left? Do we got left? So in 10 seconds, there isn't quite a possible answer that I could think of here, which is okay. It's Mahomes, which, honestly, that does make a lot of sense. I'd not thought about that. But, so set is next thing I'm going to be doing. Pressure really mounts. But, hey, here. Enjoying me. My balls off. Or, say in this case, me stress myself out trying to do much as I possibly can. Do me a solid. Just hit the subscribe button. Testing limited football knowledge here when I possibly can. You need to be a part of it. Comment how you're doing on these quizzes so far. You beating me? Just be honest. Now, get to the Immaculate grid here. So, this is going to be the ultimate test. 9 squares, 9 chances to prove what you know. For anyone who may not specifically know what the Immaculate grid actually is, it makes you name a player who fits the criteria for both the row and the column. Cannot use the same name twice. And the goal isn't just to be right. Use the row's players you can make them for a better score. And this quiz number 621, a bit of a monster one. Look at the categories. So we got the Bengals, Titans, and Hall of Fame. Columns are Atlanta, Buffalo, and the Eagles. So this is a little bit of a tough one. Start with seem like a straightforward square to get some confidence. Player play for the Bengals and the Falcons. AJ Green would be the big name. Sanu is another solid one. Rarity, let's go for a more recent role player. Hayden Hurst. Played tight end for the Falcons, then had a good year with the Bengals. Good poll. Let's lock this one in. Okay, moving on to the next square. Bengal, who also played for the Buffalo Bills. Terrell Owens had a season with both. Dalton ended up with... He did not, actually. Andy Dalton was not in Buffalo. I want to be clear on that. Really good journeyman answer that fits both teams. Let's go with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He played for both and was a memorable start for the Bills. Let's use Fitzmagic. Now for the third Bengal square. A Bengal who played for the Eagles. The obvious answer is T.O. Void repeat. My brain goes to defense. But a linebacker. Co Spikes. Started for the Bengals, then went to the Bills, then had a stop in Philly. That is a fantastic pull from the 2000s. Lock it in. Row 1 done. Next, a Titan who played for the Bills. This is a tougher connection. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the thing. On to the Titans row. A player was both on the Titans and the Falcons. The biggest, most recent answer is Julio Jones. Won't be rare. Monumental player and a sure thing. Sometimes you just have to get on the board. File it away. We'll use Julio. Next, a Titan who played for the Bills. This is a tougher connection. My first thought goes to the trenches. Offensive lineman Roger Saffold. He had his long run with the Rams, a great stint with the Titans, and then finished up in Buffalo. That is a deep cut. I love that answer. Now a Titan to play for the Eagles. The most dramatic answer possible is A.J. Brown. The blockbuster trade is still fresh in everyone's mind. Perfect answer, memorable and impactful. Feels like a no-brainer. Final row, the Hall of Famer row. Famer who played for the Falcons. Deion Sanders is a classic choice. Tony Gonzalez, a Chiefs legend who had a fantastic second act in Atlanta and put up huge numbers. That's a great choice. Now for the middle square, a Hall of Famer who played for the Bills. This is an embarrassment of riches. Jim Kelly, Thomas, Andre Reed. Well, let's go with the franchise's all-time greatest player. That king himself, Bruce Smith. An absolute legend. Perfect. Final square. For all the marbles, Hall of Famer who played for the Eagles. You got Concrete, Charlie Bednarik, Steve Van Buren, but the ultimate answer has to be the Minister of Defense, Reggie White. Icon in Philly before he went on to Green Bay. What a way to finish the grid. So the first one was a solid 9 for 9. But one is never enough. Fire up another one and see if we can keep the streak alive. Grids give us and the grids take it away. See what we've got. Okay, grid number 38 is up. Rows are Texans, Falcons, and 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Columns are Seahawks, Chargers, and Dolphins. This has some juicy connections. Texans and Seahawks. My mind goes to the offensive line and the huge trade for Brown. Tries cornerstone Houston, then earlier in Seattle. That feels like a solid, respectful pick. Okay. There we go. Next, a Texan who played for the Chargers. This is a tough one. Not a lot of crossover. Think. Defensive backs? Desmond King. He was an all-pro for the Chargers, got traded, then had a stint with the Texans. That is a fantastic high-rarity answer right here. Texans and Dolphins. There's only one answer here that truly matters. Remy Tunsil. Blockbuster trade that sent him from Miami to Houston for a mountain of picks. One of the defining trades of the last decades. Easy money. Now for the Falcons row. Falcon and play for the Seahawks. These two have had some major playoff battles. Arena's going to a guy who is on both sides of those wars, but as a coach, Dan Quinn. For a player, let's think about a veteran who made the rounds. Warrior Milroy, Patriots legend who had stops in Buffalo, Atlanta, and Seattle. That is a deep, elite, deep cut answer. Proud of that one. Falcons and Chargers. This might be the hardest square of the day. Who played for both? My brain is scrolling through rosters. Let's think pass rushers. Dwight Freeney, Colts icon who had a late career revival with the Chargers, then a cup of coffee with the Falcons. What a poll. Falcons and Dolphins. An NFC-AFC crossover that isn't super common. Think about a corner who was a stud for both teams. Brent Grimes. Pro Bowl in Atlanta, Pro Bowl in Miami. And, for reference, had a sick one-handed interception. And the Lions ain't, coincidentally, against defending Calvin Johnson. That is a solid answer that shows you know your Pro Bowl rosters from the 2010s. Final row, the 1,000-yard rusher row. Player with a 1,000-yard rushing season who played for the Seahawks. The obvious answer is the MVP, Shaun Alexander. The iconic answer is Beast Mode himself, Marshawn Lynch. But what would be the rare answer? Marshawn Lynch. Now for the Chargers square. 1,000-yard rusher for them. There is only one man here, unfortunately. Come to mind first. LT, one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game. It's an automatic. HOF lock. And the final square. 1,000-yard rusher who played for the Dolphins. This is harder than you think. They're not known for it. Ricky Williams had those great seasons. But let's go old school to the undefeated 72 team. Rary Sinska. Bruising old school fullback who is the heart of a dynasty. A perfect final answer. Wow. 18 for 18. 2 perfect grids. The real question is, what's my combined rarity score? That's the true test. I think I made some great obscure choices in there with guys like Spikes, Dwight Freeney, and Warrior Milroy. This is the beauty of these games. They force you to dig through every single corner of your football memory. From the Iron Man of the old days to the specialist of today, you have to know it all. I survived. My football brain held up under the bright lights of the Sporcle timer in 2 immaculate grids. The best part is that a new grid comes out every single day. Challenge never ever ends. How did you do? What was your rarity score? Drop your best answer from today's grids in the comments below. Want to see who beat me? Want to see me put my knowledge to the line again? Make sure you're subscribed and notifications on. There's always another quiz, another grid, and another chance to prove who knows the most about this crazy game. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.